evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monster Territory, brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Who's ready for some postseason baseball? I am. I know for a fact I am. I've been waiting for the last, how many years now? I can't count in my head. I've been doing a lot of work today. I can't do math in my head. So 22, 23, 24. It's been 4 years now. My goodness. It's good to be back in the postseason. It's good to have October baseball back again. And what better way to spend it than a good old Red Sox Yankees series? We had this back in 2021. Remember, the wild card game was the way they did it at that time. Now it's a best out of three. So this is new for all of us here, right? Obviously, it's been 4 years since being back in the postseason, but we got a brand new format that we got to get used to here. This is going to be a very interesting series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Obviously, we've had a lot of memorable series over the years. Going back to the 70s, right? Obviously the rivalry goes on forever and ever. But this one is interesting. I feel like, especially with the wild card round, since it's been introduced here over the last couple of years, there's a lot more strategy that goes into it. Even just the way you set your rosters, right? For a short series, you don't need as many pitchers on the roster, so you can be able to, utilize that bench a little bit more. You see platoon matchups more than ever at this point, and that could be a big factor in this series, right? Especially with guys like Rob Refsnyder, Romy Gonzalez, with the seasons that they've had, with what they can do against lefties, going up against a couple of lefties with Max Fried and Carlos Rodon. And we just got some big news here today on the pitching front. Lucas Giolito will not be on the roster. He was throwing, I believe it was today, and he was having some issues with the elbow. And, it's funny with Giolito. It's not funny that he's having an elbow problem, but it's interesting because you go back over the last few starts, and we've been wondering about the command. What's been going on here? He's walking 4 batters, 5 batters. He just hasn't looked quite as sharp when it comes to the command. Has this been something that he's been dealing with over the last few weeks or so? Hopefully it's nothing long term, because this guy battled back, after the UCL surgery that he got, and we would not be here today. We would not be sitting right here without Lucas Giolito. That guy was very valuable for this team this year. I hope the Red Sox can advance in this round and get him back. He deserves, in my opinion, to be a part of this run, however how long that run ends up being. I wish nothing but the best for Giolito, and I hope he comes around. But that's going to be interesting with what do the Red Sox do on the pitching side of things. Does that open up a spot for Connelly Early, where with Giolito before, you weren't sure, are they going to put Early on the roster? Well, now that's interesting. And when you've looked at what he's been able to do since coming up, I don't see why they wouldn't go that route. But then you think of the Alex Cora factor, right? Cora leans very heavy, into the matchups. He utilizes that bullpen. He tries to push as many buttons correctly as he can. So even if you go with Early in, let's say, a Game 3 start, if that's the way they end up setting everything, which it looks like, I would imagine it's going to go that way, how long is the leash going to be? And then you also factor in just the realistic part of it. It's Yankee Stadium. It would be his 5th major league start. His 5th major league start potentially in the postseason. That's crazy. That's bonkers. We'll see if that's the route they end up going. I've been trying to keep up with all the news here today. They did a bit of a press conference earlier. Garrett Crochet was talking. I also love that I saw the story where Crochet, he had all the guys on the team dressing up business casual because it's a business trip. I love that. I love little things like that when it comes to, any storyline for even the course of the year, especially for the postseason. I love the mentality that the Red Sox are bringing to this. This isn't just any other series, right? It's been a little bit now for the Red Sox since they've been back, like we said. And I'm glad they're treating this like it's, not just any other postseason, right? They're putting a lot of emphasis onto this one. And, Crochet said himself, he was talking to the younger guys. You never know when, these opportunities are going to come around. In today's game, when so many teams are in contention, when you have all of these spots open for a wild card spot, it's up for grabs. You just saw it this past week. I mean, nothing was fully decided until game 162. So I'm glad the Red Sox are having this mentality going into the postseason. It's good to see. An example, right? I mean, you go back. I mean, look at the Diamondbacks this year. The Diamondbacks, a lot of people were leaning into them. They, signed out. They went out and signed Corbin Burns. You have a lot of talent on that team, and look what ended up happening. He goes down. They made a bit of a run there in the final month or so to claw back into it, but they weren't able to get there. So the Orioles, you go back to the Orioles, they've been in this window of, they were in a window of rebuilding. They won 100 games. They were ahead of schedule. A lot of people were high on the Orioles over the last couple of years. Even myself, I had them making the postseason this year, coming into this year. And look what ended up happening with them. So he's absolutely right. Even you could have, and look at, this may not be the greatest example, but look at the Dodgers. Yes, the Dodgers, yes, they made it to the postseason, but they're a wild card. How many people here picked the Dodgers to win like 140 games this year? People were picking them to break the all-time record, and here they are in the wild card round. So it just goes to show nothing is guaranteed, and I love that. Go out there, go get yourself a nice suit. This is a business trip. We're gonna treat this like you may never come back here again. I love it. The question is, are the Red Sox going to be deep enough to make a run in this postseason? I do wholeheartedly think if they can get by this Yankee team, this is a good team. You got the rivalry. You got all the trash talking. I know the guys, over at Section 10, they love talking all the trash, right? All the other, podcasts out there talking Red Sox. Yeah. They love to they love to have fun with it. And I do too. I love the fun of it. But at the end of the day, this is a good Yankee team. You got all the hilarious accounts like Cutter is King on Twitter. He's hilarious and he's always trashing on the Yankees. But for me, I'm just looking at it right down the middle, and this is a good Yankee team. They've been playing great baseball. They've been getting good pitching, both in the rotation. The bullpen has been up and down all year, but they've got guys back there that are doing good things. This lineup, ton of bats all over the place. Aaron Judge, obviously, with the season that he's had. Yes, the Red Sox did take care of business in the season series, but you got to remember, that was with Roman Anthony. You don't got Roman here. The last time I checked, without Roman, they just took 2 out of 3 in Boston. So, who knows what's going to happen here? I won't be surprised either way. I do think the Red Sox can win this series. I do think the Yankees can win this series. I think they absolutely could win this series. But I think the Red Sox can absolutely do it too. I think the formula is there. It's going to come down to the execution like it always does, right? You can always look at the game plan. You can always look at the odds. You can look at all the predictions out there. It comes down to, are these guys going to be able to execute the game plan? They know each other well. They know what they're going to do. They know what buttons they're going to push. It's just a matter of, are you going to be able to step up and do it in that kind of an environment at Yankee Stadium? You never know until it actually unfolds before your eyes. But I'll do my best in breaking this down. We'll go over the rotations. We'll go over the lineups. We'll go over the bullpens. I'll give you my final prediction by the end of the show here. Let's dive into it here. I see a lot of familiar faces here in the chat. Kyle, Moose, Joe, how we doing? Jennifer, hello. How are we doing? Wyatt, what's going on, my friend? Leo, Combat Jones, hello. Corbin, what's going on? Everybody, welcome to today's show. If you can, hit that like button for me. If you are new, subscribe. We are trying to get to 5K by the end of the postseason. Let's see if we can do it. Also, there is a new button on YouTube here that I've just recently noticed. It's called the hype button. If you have it, all I ask, yes, hit that like button for me, but hit the hype button as well. YouTube is really emphasizing this hype button. I've been reading about it, right? I guess the more that button gets pushed, the better it's going to be for the algorithm, I guess. I guess it's almost like a super like button. I don't know. But yeah, hit the hype button as well, if you can. Let's dive into this, shall we? Again, let's go over the Giolito news here today. Let me pull this up. And this was first announced, I think Cora just said it at the press conference. Yeah, I believe that's all that was said, really. Let's share the screen. So I'll just pull up the Christopher Smith tweet of Mass Live. Lucas Giolito has an elbow issue and won't be on the Red Sox wild card roster. So I always try to look at things from a glass half full perspective. You look at the way Giolito's been performing. Again, very happy with what he's brought to the table this year. A great year for Giolito. Hopefully everything is fine with him moving forward. However, with the way he's been pitching, could this end up being a blessing in disguise? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound harsh. But it is what it is. The command has not been good with him. He's been walking batters. He's been more prone to the hits. He's lacking just that good command that he's had this year, right? When he's on, it's hard to hit him. But lately, he has not been on, and it's pretty evident that teams are seeing him pretty well. Now, if we were to take a look, let's take a look-see at the Red Sox rotation here. I mean, the rosters are not due until tomorrow before the game. So, as you can see here, if you are live with us on Fangraphs, Giolito is still listed on this roster. So, Baguera Crochet will go game 1. Brian Bayo will go game 2. It's funny because I was speculating about that the other day. I was even thinking, saying out loud, Giolito might look like the number 2 based off of kind of what they've both been able to do. Maybe some people even thought Bayo was the number 2. I don't know. For me, Giolito just felt more of like a 2. Bayo, but I was wondering maybe they'll save Bayo, or maybe they'll use Bayo for a game 2, and then they would save Giolito for game 3. And that's what ended up being the plan. Because you also got to remember with Bayo, right? He's pitched well against the Yankees in his career. Yes, hasn't pitched great this past month, but anyway. But now that Giolito's not going to be on the roster, I mean, this is either going to be Connelly Early or Kyle Harrison, and I don't see why it wouldn't be Connelly Early. Why would it not? How could it not be Connelly Early? He's looked great. 4 starts. He had that one short outing against the Rays in Tampa where Cora is really trying to utilize the bullpen as much as possible. But over the 4 starts, he's got almost a 37% strikeout percentage. Holy cow, he's been striking out batters left and right. He tied the record for strikeouts for a rookie in his Red Sox debut. Struck out, 7 his last time out against the Tigers. But 4 starts, ERA at a 2.33, FIP at a 0.91. I mean, that's a great sample size to start off your career. The strikeout to walk ratio, 13.5 per 9, compared to 1.86 walks per 9, has yet to give up a home run. But you look at it just from the matchup point of view, where he's looked really good here to start things off. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the way his whole career goes, but he's looking good here lately. But you look at the way he's handled himself out there. He seems pretty collected. He seems pretty calm. He's got his composure. Stuff holds up throughout the start. Everything just looks all fine and dandy with him, And I mean, you go back to his college career, at Virginia, and listen, that's a good baseball program there. Playing highly competitive games. So you look at a guy like Kyle Teal who came from there. Just very mature players come out of that program. So you kind of see that with him. And I just said this the other day. He, in a way, kind of reminds me, sort of a John Lester. The composure point of view, right? The poise point of view. He gives me that feeling for some reason. Like, he's never erratic out there. Just handles himself well. And you kind of wonder, obviously in the postseason, your heart rate's going to go up a little bit. Yankee Stadium, oh yeah. When you're hearing that place is shaking. People are getting loud. People are booing the crap out of you. People are just saying probably the worst things from the stands towards you. I mean, honestly, I could see him just being like, all right, let's go. Yankee Stadium, let's do it. I could see him taking it up as quite the challenge, you know? Then again, I'm not sure how long Cora would let him go out there. I mean, it's not just him, it would be really anyone. And if you had Joe Ryan, for example, well, yeah, that's, you let him go until he's done, right? But, Early, Harrison, Tolley, whoever they were to go with, I could really see that being a short stint and try not to expose, yourself to the lineup over a couple of times, right? So I could see a very big possibility that Early, maybe goes 4 innings tops, So, but I also look at it from the fact that out of the lefties they've had, him, Harrison, Tolley, he's been very effective. And you look at the lefty bats that the Yankees have in their lineup. Well, Crochet, obviously, you're feeling fantastic with him in game 1. But then you look at it where you got Cody Bellinger, right? You got Jazz Chisholm. You got these guys, these lefty bats in that Yankee lineup. They can do some things. So maybe it might just end up being a great thing to go with Early here. Just so many perspectives that make it seem like it could be a great idea. I mean, who knows? Again, how long he would go. I don't know. But I would think he's going to be the guy that gets that start. If it ends up being a game 3, of course, you got to get to a game 3. But man, that could be interesting. But Giolito, not going to be going here in this series. Hopefully he's back. If they make it to the division round, hopefully he's back for that. Let's get into the rotations here. Let's break this down. We're going to talk about the lineups, the bullpens as well. Before we do, though, a couple of words from our sponsors tonight. I'll be right back. It's your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Oh, hold on one second, everybody. Whoopsies, I clicked the wrong button. Hold on one second. It's your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. Y46 problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Alrighty, let's get back to it. Sorry about the technical difficulties right there. I don't know what the heck just happened. My goodness. But let's get to it here. We do have a super chat coming in from Joe, $4.99. Hey, Robbie, you're going to do playback streams for the playoffs. Can you give your roster prediction? Not going to be doing playback, unfortunately. Hopefully at some point down the road we can do that again. There's just too much going on right now. I'm probably going to be doing a pregame for tomorrow, for a pregame show here tomorrow. So along with the postgame show, it's just a lot going on right now. Content for the main channel. Unfortunately, not this year, but maybe down the road. As for the roster, if we're looking here at this roster for the Red Sox, I do think Giolito, with him being off of it, I think Early is going to be included. I'm curious to see, is Peyton Tolley going to be on it? Kyle Harrison, what's that going to look like? I think one of those guys would be on it, but I do think they are going to really, really utilize the bench. That's going to be something they lean into. I do think you're going to see Sogard on this roster. I would not be surprised at all to see Hamilton on this roster, especially in a short series, right? When you don't need to carry as much pitching. So People might freak out at David Hamilton being on it, but you know what? He brings that speed to the table. You just saw him hit a homer in game 162. So I think this bench, the way it's looking like here with Wong, Hamilton, Sogard, Eaton, Refsnyder, I think you're going to see that tomorrow. Pitching side of things, that's where, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do with Tolley or Harrison. Harrison is going to give you more of the secondaries, but as you just saw in that last start, he just kind of came apart. But, in a couple innings, he might be valuable to have. Tolley, on the other hand, they love his fastball. They love the velo that he brings. I could see Tolley being off of the wild card roster, and they would put him on for the division round, or vice versa with Harrison. I think you are going to see that bench be maximized for this one, especially in the short series, going up against the lefties with Fried, with Rodon. They got the righties in the bullpen. Cora is going to want to have those different matchups. So I think the bench is definitely what you're going to see be more on the fuller side. That's what I'm thinking here. Jennifer, what time is your pregame? Well, the game is at right around 6 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm going to shoot to again, I'm not sure if we're going to do I'm still deciding if I want to do a pregame now that I think about it, because I'm kind of already doing one here tonight, but then maybe for game 2. I don't know. If I do one tomorrow, if I decide to do it, it will be probably like a couple hours before the game. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So thank you for the super chat, Joe. Really do appreciate that. Here we go. Let's get to it here. Let's look. We've already taken a look at the rotations. Crochet, Bale, Early. That's the way I think it's going to go for the starts. And then for the Yankees, you're looking at Fried. You're looking at Rodon. I'm curious, unless the Yankees have announced it, I haven't seen it. But the way Schlittler's been pitching as of late, I could see them going Schlittler. Will Warren, he's pitched the more full season, but Schlittler has looked better. And Luis Heel, I believe, just made a start yesterday? When was his last start? Because Luis Heel would be the guy they would go to. His last start was the 28th. So that was yesterday. So so for game 3, I feel like would that be enough rest? Let's see. Taking a look-see. So game 3 is on Thursday. So yeah, that would be enough rest, right? So you got 1, 2, 3. No, that wouldn't be enough rest. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, he wouldn't be ready for that game. So I would, if they, I don't know, would they have him go on short rest? I don't think they would. So that's why I think it's probably going to be Schlittler or Warren for game 3. Oh, okay. Bobby pretty much announced from Boone. Okay. Yeah. God's Gift Mike. Robbie, are you and Jim still doing your show? We were going to go live earlier, and unfortunately, I had some issues with the video that I was working on, and I got way too set back today. So I had to cancel on that one. I'm not sure if he still went live. I think he did. I would imagine he did. But we are going to do a couple of collabs throughout this postseason for sure. So when it comes to the rotations, I definitely think the Red Sox, they match up, even despite not having Giolito. When you got Crochet in game 1, that's a huge advantage, right? Fried is definitely a good counter. But you just wonder from the Red Sox lineup, where they are set up very well to go up against lefties. Jarren Duran, I would imagine, is not going to lead off in either of these games. You're going to go with a righty there. I would imagine you would either see Romy or Refsnyder leading off. I think that's the way it's going to go. It's interesting because, again, Fried, he's a good counter for a game 1 starter, but the Red Sox have the lineup to counter him. Where the Yankees, they're just kind of hoping to get anything going against Crochet at all. They haven't really been able to. I mean, they did have one start this year where they were able to get him, but after that, Crochet just, the guy was on a mission every time he was going up against the Yankees. He was striking out guys left and right. So, I don't know. I think the Red Sox absolutely have the advantage in game one. So, to me, it's, how do I word this? I think the rotations, you could say the Yankees have a more full rotation, while the Red Sox are a bit more top-heavy. But in a short series, a full rotation doesn't really matter all that much. It's who's got the best arms for 3 games. Well, the Red Sox definitely got one of those boxes checked off. The Red Sox can absolutely go to Yankee Stadium tomorrow and get themselves a win. Now, here's the thing. You know Yankee Stadium is going to be popping. You know that place is going to be rocking. Crochet, I think the key for him is he's going to have to get himself dialed in. He's going to have to get himself calmed down. That's going to be the key, is setting the tone. Get that Yankee crowd quiet. That's going to be the key for Crochet. Listen, at the end of the day, he has not been in this kind of an environment. Yes, he's been at Yankee Stadium, but for a postseason game, no. This is your first taste of Garrett Crochet. I know he pitched in the 2020 the 2020 COVID championships, right? I mean, that's not the same thing, right? Here, though, this is a different animal. So I'm very curious to see how Crochet is going to be looking in that first inning. Again, you can look at the stat sheet. You can look at the stuff. In this environment, you just don't know how things are going to go. Now, Crochet, with the competitor that he is, the dude's a freaking animal. The war pig. I'm thinking he's going to go out there and he's going to feed off of it. Guy's going to eat. He's going to cook. I'm excited to see Crochet in this environment, in this setting for a game one. I think the big key for the Red Sox as well is, what is Bayo going to look like? I do feel like he took a step in the right direction in his last start. He looked better. He didn't go as deep into the game as you would have wanted him to, but he looked better compared to the first few starts of the month. So Bayo, the way he's been, and that's another guy, he kind of just runs off that adrenaline, right? Yankee Stadium, I think he's going to love it. I think he's going to have a good old time. He's always had success against the Yankees. I'm excited for it. I think the Red Sox absolutely have the starting pitching to match up against the Yankees. I feel like it's with Fried, Rodon. Again, the Red Sox have those righty bats. And don't forget about Bregman. Bregman is starting to look a little better with this bat from the right side. Story's been pretty balanced against both lefties and righties this year. Seti, of course. I'm excited to see what Seti can do in the postseason, in this environment. That's the key, man. The Red Sox right-handed bats, they're going to have to execute. Crochet is going to have to set the tone. Bayo's got to be Bayo. Will they win this in 2 games? I don't know. I have a hard time seeing a 2-game series sweep. 3 games? I think that's more likely if that's the way it's going to go. Now, when it comes to the offenses, I mean, listen, Crochet, obviously, we've seen what he can do. The Yankees, they have been a little bit more prone to the swing and miss, so that's why they have a tough time against guys like Crochet, right? When they have that big old stuff. Then with if Bayo, if he can go out there and he can just get this lineup off balance the way he's been able to do, that's going to be that could end up being really fun. However, the Yankees at the end of the day still got a lot of good bats. Judge is Judge. Rice has been hot lately, and don't forget, Ben Rice, he's been a Red Sox killer. Grew up in Massachusetts. The guy loves to feast on the Red Sox. I don't know what it is. So look out for Ben Rice. Austin Wells, I remember he got to Crochet earlier in the year, a couple of homers, I believe, if I remember correctly. Jazz in this environment? I know Jazz was, something happened with him. What's his status? So he was not in the lineup. He had a forearm issue. And I think I saw Boone saying Jazz was not going to be in the lineup for game one. So that's interesting. So I wonder what his status would be for game two. I would think Jazz would be in this lineup for game two at least. I could understand the lefty matchup sitting against Crochet. But, Stan, look out for Stanton as well. He's been hot. Guy's been hitting dingers all over the place this final month. Righty bat going up against Crochet. Well, Crochet, obviously, he's got the big old sweeper. Stanton, he has not been very good against breaking balls in his career, especially that caliber of breaking ball, right? Throw a slider to Stanton, and you pretty much got a guaranteed strikeout. But Stanton is hot lately, so keep that in mind. The Yankees got bats, man. I mean, at the end of the day, they got bats. They can make things happen. And they love to feed off of that Yankee crowd, and that Yankee crowd's going to be loud. Now, if I were to pick a lineup, it's interesting because it's like I don't think it's really just looking at both lineups and just picking what's better. It's going to come down to the matchups. It's going to come down to the platoons, the lefty-righty matchups. Who's going to pinch hit in what spots? The key to this series is the button pushing, I think. Who's going to push the most buttons correctly? Is it going to be Cora or is it going to be Boone? Right? I mean, yeah, you could sit here and say, oh, the Yankees got the better lineup. You got Judge. You got Bellinger. Jazz was 30-30 this year. You got Stanton. Trent Grisham. He looked like Barry Bonds in the beginning of the year. He had a good year. So, yeah, I mean, it's easy to look at the Yankees lineup and say, yeah, I mean, that's good. But really, the Red Sox lineup, when it comes to Romy and Refsnyder, again, it's not automatic that they're going to go out there and, combine to go 10 for 10 against Freedom Rodon, but they do have that presence there, right? They have that reputation of being those lefty killers. But then you also look at it from the Yankees' point of view. Are they going to be able to make the adjustments to Romy and Refsnyder? I have this feeling that they're going to pitch around those guys. They're not going to give them anything to hit. I think Fried is going to be very careful with both of them. I think Rodon is going to be super careful, right? I think Fried, he's been less prone to the big hit this year. Rodon, he's given up a little damage along the way. But either way, I think both those guys, they're going to be very careful with them. I expect those guys to get pitched around, but that could be a good thing because that's going to open up the possibility of guys getting on base. And that's why Roman was so good in this lineup, because the guy got on base and he put pressure on. So if you got Romy or Refsnyder at the top of the lineup, even if they don't get a hit or a big knock, if they can just draw the walk, that's going to be great too. So I'm very excited about it. That's going to be key, I think. It's the right-handed bats going up against the lefty pitchers. And Boone, he's also got a lot of guys at his disposal. I know Goldschmidt kind of fell off of a cliff. Jason Dominguez, he's pretty much a platoon hitter at this point. I think I saw Ahmed Rosario is going to be getting the start over Jazz for tomorrow. So that could be interesting. He's hit lefties well. Jose Caballero, he's been a solid pickup for the Yankees. So it's not just Cora, the fact that he's got Romy and Refsnyder. Well, Boone's got guys too. So buttons are going to be pushed. Lots of moves are going to be made. Lots of pinch hitters are going to be used. Bullpens are going to be utilized. It's going to be a chess match. Really, that's what it's going to be. This isn't the old Red Sox Yankees where, you got Manny and Poppy in the middle of the order. On the other side, you got A-Rod and Jeter and Sheffield. Just throw out the best hitters, best pitchers possible, see who wins. No, it's a chess match at this point. I think the Red Sox have enough talent to get the job done, but the Yankees do too. I just fully think that. Now, this is where I think the key is I think this is what's going to, again, it's going to be the button pushing, right? But it's how well are these bullpens going to do? Yeah, Crochet, sure. Fried, Rodon, sure. Bullpens, though, where I have concern for the Yankees. Yes, David Bednar, Williams, they've been pitching very well lately, but Devin Williams, he's a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get. The guy could look like, Mariano Rivera some days. And then there's other days where he's looking like Kei Igawa. You're thinking, like, who the heck is this guy? Who remembers Kei Igawa? That guy was fun. Man. Never forget the Yankees countered Daisuke Matsuzaka with Kei Igawa. Man, oh man. But that's what it is with Devin Williams. He could look great one day, and then he's just not the other day. Bednar, he's been very good. But Luke Weaver, is he going to be that guy that you saw in the postseason last year? He's had his ups and downs. Fernando Cruz, did he give up like 9 runs or something not too long ago? What happened with him? There was what was that? Let's go to the good old game log here. Yeah, it was that one in Detroit on the 9th. He gave up, what was it? He gave up 3 walks and 5 earned. Are you going to get that guy? He's looked good since then. He hasn't given up a run since September 13th. So, yeah. What's he going to look like? Who else we got? And Camille Duvall. He's been fine, seems like lately. Mark Leiter Jr., I think he had a meltdown not too long ago. Which bullpen is going to hold strong at the end of games? Well, sorry, but, listen, all due respect to Bednar and Devin Williams. But Chapman and Whitlock, these guys have been just phenomenal this year. Whitlock has been straight up nasty over the last month or so. I believe Whitlock has struck out the side on a few separate occasions. Chapman's Chapman. That's going to be fun for Chapman to go back to Yankee Stadium in a postseason game. Oh, man, Joshua Lubchinski's here. Oh, let's go Yankees, he says. Oh, man, we got some Yankee fans here in the chat. I love it. I love when the Yankee fans are coming on out. I love it. Justin Slayton, he's looked better as of late. Greg Weissert has looked better as of late. So the Red Sox bullpen, they have been performing. Will they hold strong, though? I don't know. It's going to come down to that. If I were to lean one way towards the bullpens, I would lean towards the Red Sox. I think they've just been the more steady bullpen. I think they've been more consistent. The Yankees, they've had a lot of meltdowns along the way. That's kind of the way, and I think Yankee fans would agree with me. I don't think that's me being, irrational. The Yankee fans, they know how awful this bullpen can be some nights. The Red Sox bullpen, sure, they've had their moments too, but not as dramatic and not as bad, I think, overall, especially in the second half. We'll see here. I would lean towards the Red Sox bullpen at the end of the day. I would lean that way. Offenses, lineups, yeah, I would. The Yankees have more star power, I believe, right? Especially lately, with what Judge has been able to do. He's also a factor. Is Judge going to step up in the postseason? Is he going to finally turn it on? Is he going to have his 2009 A-Rod moment? Is it going to be that for Judge finally? Is he going to be able to get that monkey off his back? Could this be the postseason? I don't know. Stanton looked great last postseason. The Yankees, I think overall, have that star power. But the Red Sox, they have the guys that can get the job done. Bregman is going to be key. You need Bregman to start getting going. You've been seeing the signs, the hard hit balls. You've been seeing it. But Bregman, he has really got to turn it on. Pre-quad Bregman. Please bring that Bregman back. Holy cow, if we had him right now, oh man. We'd be cooking. We'd be feeling really confident right now. Massa, I wonder if Massa could be a guy that ends up being an X factor. Maybe not so much against Fried and Rodon with the lefties. I think you're going to see Massa more late in games. But if he can come through late in games with that short porch, everyone wants to say, oh, the Yankees, they got the short porch. That's the only reason they hit the home runs. Well, I will take that with Yoshida any day. Please put Yoshida up at the plate at Yankee Stadium in the top of the seventh, the top of the eighth, and give me a homer. I'm all right with that. I'm cool with that. Masa, I wonder if he could be an X factor late in games. And that's where, again, the chess match comes into play. Duran, what is he going to be able to do? He hasn't had a lot of success against lefties. I don't know. The Yankees got the stars. They got the guys. They got the dudes. But the Red Sox got a lot of dudes, and they got a lot of guys that can make things happen. And also, I want to point this out with the Red Sox, too. They have done a great job in the second half, even this past month without Roman, of limiting the swing and miss. Remember how bad the swing and miss got in the first half? Sure, they've had a couple of games along the way where, they had like 13 or 14 strikeouts over the last month or so. I believe one game was like that. But they have been more consistent at limiting the strikeouts. So I'm expecting the Red Sox to get the ball in play a lot. They're going to be aggressive. Look for Cora to also keep up the base running. Cora, the base running, he's going to be aggressive there. I know Fried, Rodon, they're the lefties. They got the pickoffs. But Cora, I think, is going to look to make things happen. He's going to get crafty out there with the way they're going to do some things. We'll see. We'll see. In the end, though, if you're going to ask kind of where I'm at here, if I'm looking at Cora and Boone, and I'm looking at what they've been able to achieve in the postseason, Cora, listen, Cora, sure, maybe he's made some weird calls, over the last couple of years, when you think about, the way they've utilized the bullpen. But when it comes to these moments, when you're able to utilize your best assets, Cora in these spots has succeeded more often than not compared to Boone. He has pushed the right buttons. Go back to 2018. Obviously, they had talent off the charts, but Cora was pushing all the right buttons. Go back to 2021. He pushed just enough buttons to get them 2 wins within a World Series. And going into that season, how many people were picking the Red Sox to even make the postseason that year? I think when it comes down to it, I think Cora, with the matchups that he has, with the righty bats, along with the lefty bats that they have to go up against these other righties that come in after Freedom Rodon, I think with the bullpen the Red Sox have, with the way they've been able to get the job done, you have Crochet in Game 1 as the cherry on top. He's the 3 scoops of ice cream and the cherry on top. You got him for Game 1. The Red Sox are in a really good spot. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough series no matter which way this goes. But I do think the Red Sox have what it takes to win this in 3 games. It's kind of where I'm at. I think they can get it done. Now, this is a bit of a cop-out kind of an answer. This is kind of an on-the-fence answer. I think the Yankees could absolutely do the same thing. It's just a matter of which way are the dominoes going to fall. You don't know, until you see it. But the Red Sox are absolutely capable of winning this series. Cora knows this team well, obviously. Cora's pushed a lot of correct buttons in the past, and I expect him to keep on doing what he's been able to do. Boone, on the other hand, I think Yankee fans would also agree with me, where they're just screaming at their television sets over a call that Boone made. Boone, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? What has happened? Do you know how many times I go on Yankee Twitter land and someone is criticizing a move? Cora too, but I see it more with Boone. I think the Red Sox win this series in 3 games. It's kind of where I'm at. So it's on the road. It's Yankee Stadium. It's going to be tough. But you know what? They showed up in the suits. They're ready to go. They're ready to roll. Bregman also, I saw, was a little under the weather today. Please, come on. No one getting sick right now. Please pump up the vitamin C. Go buy some limes from the store nearby. Go do what you got to do. No one getting sick, please. that's where I'm at. I got the Red Sox in 3 games. Is there a little giraffe neck Robbie there? Is there a little bias there? Naturally, probably. I'm going to look for all the reasons I can to go with my team, but realistically, I think they can get it done. The Yankees can too. It's going to be a fun series no matter what. Anyone that picks the Yankees, I'm not going to fault you. But anyone that picks the Red Sox, I don't think you're wrong at all for going that way. That's what I think. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But Crochet, I'll repeat myself one more time. I know I repeat myself a lot. I do think setting the tone for Crochet is huge. From not just a performance point of view, but from a mentality point of view. I think the first inning for Crochet at Yankee Stadium, that is going to be massive. If he can get through the first inning nicely, settles in, if the Red Sox can get a run on the board, take the pressure off a little bit, ease things up a little bit, I think that could really set the tone for the series. We'll see. We'll see. Everybody, I'm out of here. Before I do, though, we do have one more word from our sponsor. I'll be right back.
Okay, AJ, our slab pack ripping continues now. You just ripped a card that I think you're actually going to keep.
I am. I'm going to keep it. It's a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. The old, isn't this the famous upper deck one, I believe it is? And yeah, heck yeah, I'm going to keep it because I'm going to get Griffey to sign it. I'm going to get him to send it to me, which you can do, and I'm going to get Griffey to sign it, and it's only going to make it worth more. So I am all in on this card. I am keeping it, and it is one of the coolest cards with the highest turtleneck you've ever seen and the gold chain around his neck.
Graded 9, 1989 upper deck. You get the offer for $179. It's valued at around $199. And you're like, nah, I'm keeping it. But if you wanted to sell it back instantly, you can. It's the beauty of Arena Club. AJ is going to send in and get the physical card sent to him. And you could do the same. 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase can happen for you. If you go to arenaclub.com/foul and use the code FOUL.
Alrighty, let's see what's going on here in the chat. I'll hang out for a few minutes before I fully wrap things up here. Moose, appreciate you. Appreciate you, my friend, Mr. Moose. Mason here, Red Sox win the series 2-0 and off to the Jays. You know, I'll tell you this. I have this weird... It's so weird. This is why I hate the postseason. I love the postseason, but I hate the postseason. I have this weird uneasiness with the Blue Jays. It's such a weird feeling with them, you know? I know we just took 2 out of 3 there. I know Crochet just dominated there. But that Blue Jays team, man, they're really good. They're really in like an underrated kind of a way. I think it's just because they haven't been able to get over that hump. So I just think a lot of people are just non-believers about them. They are good. They're very good. Offense has been one of the best in the games. They're actually good defensively. I do wonder about the pitching, but it's weird with the Blue Jays because they've especially earlier in the year, they were just carving up the Red Sox, man. You know? That's a Blue Jays team. They make a lot of good contact. They work the counts well. They are going to need Bo Bichette back. If they get Bichette, if he's fine because he had the knee injury, then that's going to be tough, man. It's weird. Like I almost have a bit more of an uneasiness with the Blue Jays. I'm not trying to criticize the Yankees there. I'm not. It's more because I'm looking at it from the matchup point of view. Again, it's just these lefties where the Red Sox have had so much success. I did see a stat today saying in the second half the Red Sox only have an 84 WRC plus against lefties. I did see that. But then you just see, Ref Snyder, just holy cow, he's so good against the lefties. The Red Sox are going to have to get more out of their other right-handed bats. But they have that potential against these Yankee lefties to really do some damage. It is there. Where the Blue Jays, on the other hand, they got a few different guys Like Gosman, he's had a lot of success against the Red Sox. Wasn't great in his last start. If Bassett's healthy, that guy's always just a pain in the butt to go up against. Trey Savage has pretty solid stuff. I mean, that's another rookie here. Look at all these rookies that are up, not just within this series, but in all of the postseason, right? Pretty fun to watch. Again, I worry about that Blue Jays team. It's an interesting matchup if the Red Sox were to make it there. I mean, even if the Yankees make it there, I think that's a Blue Jays team that can actually do something this year. They've had more hype going back to, 2021, 22. But I feel like they're being slept on a little bit. Just going to point that out. I don't know. That's just me. But I remember talking to Alex Cora before the season, and I believe he mentioned it in that stream, but he also mentioned it somewhere else. He had said that, the Blue Jays were a team to look out for. Kind of funny how he mentioned that before the season. Obviously, he's a great baseball mind. And look at the Blue Jays, winning the division. No one was picking them to win the division. I saw some people maybe for a wild card. But, that's an interesting team. Interesting team. You're looking at the other side of the bracket. And the Mariners, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. The one thing with the Mariners, again, it comes down to a lot of matchup stuff. The Mariners, the one weakness they have a lot of swing and miss. They strike out a lot. They got the power. They got the bats, right? When you look at the stat sheet, 60 home runs, 40 home runs, 30 home runs, this, that. But there's a lot of swing and miss there. And if they match up against the team that can strike out a lot of guys, that might end up being a bad matchup for them. I think the Tigers, even though they lost the division by at a historic pace, that's a team I think can still bounce back and beat the Guardians because I still like what they have there. Skubal, especially in a short series, yeah, sure, they lost the division round last year, but I think the Tigers, they can win the wild card round. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Can the Red Sox actually go on a run? I will say this. If they could get Roman back, if they get him back, they got a shot, man. They do. I'm a little curious if they don't have Roman, if they're able to go on a run or not. Especially with these teams in the National League that you could potentially go up against. In a way, I feel like, over in the National League, if I were to give you my thoughts there, in a way, I feel like the Dodgers are almost being slept on, in a way. That sounds weird, but the Dodgers, that is a team where I think a lot of people, they're just automatically writing them off because they just won a World Series last year and it's so hard to go back to back. I think their starting pitching is so well set up and it's so good where that starting pitching could carry them back to the World Series. I think the Phillies, or if they run into the Phillies there, if that ends up being Dodgers-Phillies, then I think that's a great matchup. But the Dodgers, they hit left-handed pitching well. They've ranked very well against lefties this year. And the Phillies have a ton of lefties. So more than ever, I look at matchups. That's kind of where I've started to lean my head towards. Like, yes, it's easy to just look at lineups. It's easy to, look at this, look at that. But really, it's just a matter of, because how many times have over the years where you look at a team on paper and you say to yourself, yeah, they are definitely going to beat that team. And then they end up losing. They didn't quite match up very well, Who else am I thinking about? Brewers. I'm really excited about the Brewers in this postseason. I think the Brewers could be interesting. I wonder if they have enough impact bats to be able to get the job done. We saw the Brewers firsthand earlier in the year. They make a ton of contact. They get on base a ton. They were first in on base percentage in the second half. They run the bases well. They play great defense. I just wonder if they're going to have enough impact bats and if they're going to have enough pitching to be able to make a run. At the end of the day, the cream rises to the top. And yes, the Brewers, I hope the Brewers go on a run. I really do. But But man, it's like against those powerhouse teams, I wonder if it's going to be enough. I hope they do. But they could make it fun. Padres, Cubs. Padres with that great bullpen. Cubs, I think, have a pretty balanced team overall. I wonder about their bullpen a little bit. Some question marks in the rotation. But Padres, I love their bullpen. I think that could carry them. Phillies, I'll bring them back up again. Obviously, you got star bats, great pitching. No Zach Wheeler, that's going to hurt. But, yeah. Like there's just a lot of good talent in this postseason. It could go a million different ways. But I'll say it one more time. I think the Red Sox have what it takes to make it past this round. I'll go Red Sox 3 games. That's where I'm at. Everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'm wrapping it up. I'm exhausted. I was working on a video all day today. I still haven't quite finished it up. I'm going to go get that uploaded. I got to go finish the thumbnail. Everybody, thank you for watching here tonight. I do appreciate that. We'll be back here tomorrow. I might do a pregame show. I might not. Again, we just kind of had this here tonight, so I might not do a pregame. Maybe tomorrow or for game 2 possibly. I don't know. Be on the lookout. I might do it tomorrow. If not, I'll see you after the game tomorrow night. I'm ready for the postseason, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you then.